Ticats will have the win in the fourth quarter. Lions and Antolin dropped immediately. Eric Harris, backfield, almost took the handoff.
And good news for Hamilton fans, not only on that play, but the fact that he's back in the game. He knocked a pass down from Kevin Glenn in the first half and then kind of came down awkwardly, limped off the field, but he's back and was in the backfield here on Antolin.
Not sure any fan base likes defense better than Hamilton. They're calling for it here, and a pass caught by Antolin, but a short gain and a quick 2-and-out. Ticats are going to get it back in a hurry. And again, BC will be kicking into the wind here in the fourth.
Hamilton Tiger Cats defensively, Alana Stonhours might be working on this and focusing on it because they have been tackling great, outstanding in the open field. If they're one-on-one in the open field, they're down BC Lions. A lot of these plays are designed to get a guy open into space who can win the one-on-one.
Good boot by Schmidt, but Hicks has got something on the return. Skips over midfield and is into BC territory. He steps out around the 49, so a short field for Zach Collaros, down by 5. Well, a holding call is going to...
While the ball was in flight, holding Hamilton, number 43. 10-yard penalty, first down.
He's going to take it back and negate what would have been a 22-yard return. Neil King called on the play.
And that good field position just moved to Hamilton's side of the field, and Dawson knows how important that can be. That's another 2 first downs his offense needs to get back to where they were. Now, got those multiple formations going. They have been moving the ball between the 30s pretty well. We'll see what Mark Washington has dialed up for him here. The BC Lions since 2011, by the way, 38-1 when they have the lead going into the fourth quarter.
Lions trying to avoid their first 3-game losing streak since 2011.
Well, I mentioned the last time Hamilton beat BC last year when Henry Burris was their quarterback. Before that, you have to go back to 11 when Kevin Glenn was the starting quarterback in Hamilton. They beat BC both times that year. Lions have had their number 4-5, and we'll see if they can hang on to this lead or build on it.
They're not sure if they're reviewing where this ball was caught.
I think they're just trying to find the right spot where they're marking the football and where the ball was exactly caught. And you see it right on the 38.5, 39-yard line. Looked like the ball was right over the 39.
Point of possession was the 39-yard line. The 10-yard holding penalty is applied from the 39. First down, Hamilton.
It's a 10-yard penalty by referee's call, but when you consider football at the Lion 49, it's a lot more costly than that. It's about 35 yards of real estate, a third of the field.
Now you're 4 first downs to get back to where you started because of that penalty. It's a lot of work.
Collaros on a roll. Cream Smith in pursuit, and the pass almost picked, intended for Jaguar on the sidelines.
Take a look at Jaguar working up the field, and then when he sees Zach Collaros scrambling that way. He puts the brakes on and tries to come back, and TJ Lee had a shot at it.
This BC defense has not surrendered a 300-yard game this year. The highest was by the Ticats. Dan Lefevre put up 298. Collaros closing in on 300. And that pass is going to draw a PI against Ronnie Yell, who bumped Brandon Banks just a split second ahead of the arrival of the football.
Yep, no question. We saw that right down in front of our location here, and it was a good bump from Ronnie Yell before the ball arrived.
Pass interference, BC number 25.
No question here in my mind.
First down.
Yell kind of looks surprised, but you'll see the contact there. The ball's on its way, and he pushes Brandon Banks about a yard and a half.
Ronnie Yell switched sides to the boundary to replace Dante Marsh. TJ Lee over on that field corner. First down for Hamilton. Here comes pressure, and the ball batted down. I think Eric Taylor got a hand, and that's number 4, the 4th knockdown of the year for the big guy up front.
Which would tie him for knockdowns on his team with Ryan Phillips. Yeah, you expect the DBs to get in. Sometimes those guys up front, if you don't get to the quarterback, then get your hands up. Try and close down a passing lane, and that's what Eric Taylor does.
I'm not sure he's got Ryan Phillips' range, but I'm not going to argue with him.
No. Just yes, sir, no, sir.
2nd and 10. Collaros steps up, throws, and a fastball just in behind Tasker, who can't make the catch. And the punt team comes on.
Zach Collaros got a nice throwing lane here, and I think he wanted something deep. When he realized he was stepping up in the pocket and just hold it there, O'Neill takes Eric Taylor out of the middle, and he wanted something deep. He didn't have fever.
Medlock with the wind at his back. Not a great kick. Randall's got it. And he'll be brought down immediately at the 30-yard line. Good downfield cover by the Cats. 40-yard punt, no return. Beaten every team in the league this season except for Edmonton. They have not beaten any team twice. Trying to sweep the Ticats series this year after winning 36-29. The hitch to Ernest Jackson, and he'll get onside and step out after a first down all the way up around the 45-yard line.
Surprised that Ernest Jackson, I know there's at times you got to balance the ratio and you've got to make some tough decisions on good players, but Ernest Jackson could be that big play guy that could complement Emmanuel Arsenault. He's similar in size, big guy, 6'2", 220.
He's been a factor tonight. They didn't really step up at the 40, so instead of a 15-yard pickup, they're 2nd and inches. Beck and the short yardage crew are on. And he'll get the first down with some authority.
By the way, Emmanuel Arsenault have 5 catches tonight, 21 yards. 4 of those in the first half. Remember, he has a touchdown throw to Sean Gore as well on that fly sweep. They turned into a reverse pass, but for the most part, Hamilton has done a pretty good job against the leading receiver for the Lions at almost 800 yards coming into tonight's game.
And in the first meeting, Arsenault and Gore both had 100-yard receiving games.
Yeah.
Kevin Glenn trying to enhance this 5-point lead. And he's going up top. Jackson incomplete.
Wow, it hit him.
Right off the hip. It looked like there was a little contact before the ball arrived that may have thrown Ernest Jackson off.
Well, they put Emmanuel Arsenault one-on-one on the backside, and then Jackson to the field. That hit him right in the shoulder. It was almost like he lost sight of the football.
You're right. He didn't look like he tracked that.
No, he lost it in the lights possibly.
2nd and 10. Let a roll. Wide side throw is caught. Kito Popla's got his first catch. It's short of the first down. And just the second game that Popla has a catch in the last 10.
Yeah, and this is a bit of an issue of late. Outside of Sean Gore, who's chipping in, has a touchdown catch tonight, his first. Canadians just have not been producing. Kito Popla, that's his 6th catch. Marco Iannucci just with 11.
That'll hang up in the wind and bounce back. Scooped up there and a big return out of it. Sinkfield with flags down, and we believe they are no yards flags. We'll see if any of that cloth would bring back a great return by Terrell Sinkfield.
Well, if it does, it would be the second punt in a row that Hamilton took it.
No yards. BC number 6. The penalties declined. First down, Hamilton.
That was it, just a no yard.
Timeout.
So we will get the good field position.
24 yards on the return.
Fury.
Well, the penalty was declined anyway, but eyebrows were raised as they announced number 6 because that's the punter.
Yeah, and
who
he's allowed
cannot
in.
be
Yeah.
no yards. But Keenan Parker was also within the area, and all for naught because Sinkfield ran it back 24 yards, and Hamilton happily declines the penalty and starts on the BC side of half. Little inside toss, Brandon Banks into the secondary and bounce at the 23-yard line. Boy, he adds an extra element to this Ticat attack. So quick.
Reminds me way he runs a little bit of Bashar Livingston. Remember him back in the Toronto days when he was that returner that always looked like he was running just fast enough to be faster than everybody else, but it felt like he had another speed beyond that. I get that same feeling with Brandon Banks, that, you know, he outruns angles almost effortlessly.
25 yards. Collaros over 300, so the first quarterback to do that against this Lion defense this year. And a pass out of the reach of Banks with Elimimian in the vicinity.
Well, Banks was supposed to find a hole in that zone, but I think he saw 56 and he stopped a little short of it. And who can blame? 6th game or 6th time in 16 games that Zach Collaros has been over 300 yards in his young career.
4th time this season. 2nd to Drew Willie in that department. Second and 10. Again looking for 7s instead of 3s. Collaros in some trouble. Throws it, and it's caught near the first down. And Fort Park's in an uproar. Andy Fantuz made the catch, and they're going to be a yard short, and now a decision for Ken Austin.
Zach Collaros got in trouble early when he started to look at the rush and not look downfield, and then he had to get himself some more room. Mike Benavides may want to challenge to see if Fantuz made this catch in bounds. He starts looking at the rush here, then he finds Fantuz late. Now, did he get a foot in?
Looked like he did. He was getting pushed out. And they'll sneak for the first down.
Well, and now they've run the play, and Mike Benavides...
Did they get the first down? Mike Benavides wanted to challenge.
He wanted to challenge and take this back.
Ticats went up to the line quickly, and now are they going to be stopped short?
Well, let's take a look. This is Fantuz. Got his left foot down.
And now the measurement. And is it? It's short.
Now,
wow.
Now Mike Benavides doesn't want to challenge.
No, he's going to hold on to that yellow flag.
He's never mind. I'm putting it back in the pocket.
Well, they come away empty, the Ticats. This time not even 3 to show.
You know, and I wonder if they rushed that short yardage play to try and avoid the challenge in the second look, because did Zach Collaros fumble the ball?
It looked like he had trouble getting the handle, didn't he?
They rushed it a little bit.
So a turnover on downs, and the Lions take over at their 13. They'll pitch it to Eklund, trying to get outside, and Courtney Stevens stepped up. Ted Laurent there as well, but the corner.
So that's a question for Ticat fans. Were the Ticats trying to hurry that short yardage to avoid the challenge by Mike Benavides on the Fantus catch on the sideline, and then mishandle the snap because of it? Ball's on the ground. Collaros finds it, but can't get the forward progress.
Was watching Cord Parks there. He wanted the challenge flag out. He was all upset, and then he realized they'd stop him on third down. And like Benavides, he was okay. Second and 10. Here comes the heat. Right in front, and he surrendered back at the 5.
Well, that's big now, because the BC Lions are gonna have to punt about 10 yards deep in their end zone. Do they kick it out? Give up the 2, makes it a 3-point game.
BC number 80. That penalty's declined. Third down.
Well, who gets home? Is it Hickman or Stewart? Looks like Justin Hickman. Kevin Glenn's old roommate may get credit for that sack, and a decision for the Lions coach here. What do you think, Coach?
Well, you give up 2, it's a field goal difference. Field goal now ties the game. You kick it out, you're almost giving Hamilton field goal position anyway.
Well, the return man standing at the BC, well, between the 42 and the 47.
Surprised if they kick it out here.
And he will concede the safety.
Surprised they kicked that out. It's too deep.
So it's a 3-point game, and the Ticats are going to get the ball back after the sack that led to the safety. 15 CFL recap with extended game highlights, key moments, and sound bites you won't find anywhere else. CFL at 30 gets underway at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, 10:03, and TSN 5. Might even hear from Pigskin Pete. Schmidt the kickoff, and Sinkfield lets it hit the target. Live football. And Sinkfield breaks a tackle and, wow, made something out of what could have been disaster up to the 50. 16 on the return. It comes up smiling. I'm not sure Ken Austin was smiling.
I think Ken Austin might have got a couple more grays because of that, but his team in position here, a couple first downs away from being back in scoring range. But I think the right decision by Mike Benavides to that deep in the end zone, give up the safety. His defense has been playing pretty well, especially in their own end, right around this part of the field.
Trying to extend their win streak. Collaros going to air it out. Bakari Grant open and incomplete. Ryan Phillips had slipped on the play. Bakari Grant wide open and a missed chance.
It just wide open, and it looked like these receivers may be having a little bit of trouble tracking the football. Why did Bakari Grant adjust like he did once Ryan Phillips went down? Watch him go, slow it down a bit, guys. He just makes a little adjustment there, and then Lou finds it again and has to redirect.
Again, there is a wind, and you wonder if it's gusting, and
maybe it was the wind. That would explain it, but didn't have to make that adjustment.
Wind at their back, 2nd and 10, and this play does not get off.
Are we going to be Facebook friends or not?
Procedure. Hamilton, number 61. 5-yard penalty remains. 2nd down.
Big left tackle, Joel Figueroa.
Wind at the back of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, according to those flags, and the wind's at your back. Maybe that ball just sailed a little bit on Collaros, and that's why Bakari Grant had trouble judging it, but missed opportunity there.
Now 2nd and 15. picked off underneath and a quick close. Good tackle there by Ryan Phillips. Didn't slip that time. Brings down Brandon Banks.
Two guys for the Lions on defense that have played real well tonight. One is Adam Bighill. The other is the veteran Ryan Phillips. And I've seen a couple of times him make plays away from that have been difference makers. That play on the ball. Now, he didn't take the bad penalty.
Medlock the boot, and it's a good one. What a great kick by Medlock, bouncing down inside the 5. Great cover. Nadon down there again, but Medlock 62 yards into the quarter.
Well, and that's a newcomer in the return game in Bradley Randall. And I'm wondering, as that ball was bouncing, did he give it up and go inside of 3, or were they instructed to get it all? That's Marco Iannuzzi. As a matter of fact, not sure if that would have made it in the end zone or not, but
Neil King down there too. Yeah, it looked like it was going to stop up short. Just a perfect boot by Medlock, who's done all the damage on the offensive side of things. Here's Antolin, and not going anywhere again. Into the clutches of Norwood and Laurent.
nice game plan by Orlando Steinauer, defensive coordinator for Hamilton. He's not only got it changed up where he's rotating some linebackers down to take away the space of Keoli Antolin. They know he's a small back with good quickness in the open field, so they're closing that space down quickly as they snap the ball, and then tackling well in the open field, as we showed you early in the third quarter. There's some big down here.
They empty it out. Pass is caught, but it'll be short. Rico Murray brought down Sean Gore. And again, the punt to come out. And will they concede another safety here from about the same spot?
Yeah, again, Chris, just sure tackling. I mean, Murray is going to make an excellent tackle. Corner route from Emmanuel Arsenault. He's well covered, in fact, double covered. And what they do is they leave Murray in a one-on-one. They say, you make the tackle, don't miss him. If you miss him, he might pick up first down on his own. And the defensive coordinator, Orlando Steinauer, loves it.
Well, this defense has come a long way. They force back-to-back safeties. Now 1-point game. Ricky Schmidt looking to the sidelines. Was there a little confusion? Look at the difference from the first 7 games to the last 5, and that trend continues.